Pete Brooker, had to pull you in real quick because I'm sure you've heard the news. We've had another delay of No Time to Die, moving from November to sometime in 2021. I guess more than likely fall of 2021, which is pushing it up a whole other year. Um, Initial reactions, I mean, gut reactions about this delay.
Uh,
Wow, did not expect that.
oh, oh. I
Had to.
actually didn't know. Are you for real? I didn't know. Is that out today? Is that true?
Well, we just read the news. So,
Son of a gun.
what's
Well,
uh, what's your gut reaction as breaking this news to you?
so not entirely surprised. I watched your video that I think you and Joe broke down the game film really well on that one. I think you were like 50-50 on the fence. I think Joe was a bit more optimistic at the time.
Yeah, I was.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is a sinker. I do feel like it falls into somehow the great lineage of Bond films that have been cursed over the years through troubled production on Majesty's No Snow. I mean, you know the story. There's always something with one Bond film that will somehow put fuck. I can't even. I'm so gutted.
So what do you feel? Do you feel like, all right, just give it to me on video demand tomorrow, or no, you're right. Wait for the theater experience.
I Well, it's tricky. So, I mean, I am blessed with having a huge television. I mean, I've
I'm so
almost
glad you
got
said television. I thought you were going to go elsewhere. That you were blessed with something else.
no, well, no, not that. Sadly, I have got a huge kick-ass television. Now, I am bragging, but it's true. So
Yeah,
for
I've seen it.
me, it's it is tempting. If it was right there on Netflix, watch now. I'm like, "Ooh, how would you be able to resist?" But I there are moments that you remember going to the cinema, and there's moments that you remember going to the cinema and watching a Bond film. I can remember pretty much everyone since I was a child. I can remember crying at the end of Skyfall when Moneypenny gives Bond the bulldog. I can remember crying in front of all my workmates from the Cricket Bat Factory and them taking the piss out of me for the next year. I can remember watching Casino Royale with my brother and my family, and we went
Yeah.
dressed in these £15 tuxedos. They were horrible. Uh, so I don't think I'll quite get that memory looking back, me watching it on the couch. They'll be like, well, that was that. That was nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do want the circus. I do want the feeling of something going on, and I want that, and I do think I'll have the discipline. So if it was a temptation thing, like if it was there and I could watch it, I'd give it a miss. I'd like to think I would give it a miss.
Right. But we can just hold our breath for a little bit longer. We'll keep creating material. I mean, you've been doing an amazing job. So now you just need to kind of, and then do it for like another year and a half, right?
How have you, David? How have you been doing it for the last 5 years? That's incredible.
I'm almost putting aside the fact that there's a movie. Like the
Right.
movie is a bonus if we ever get to it type thing, but it's not driving me anymore. I mean, it used to be that I wanted images and clothing and we're getting that from time to time, but it's not what gets me up in the morning to create new things anymore. It's truly the Bond community. It's my own outlet from a creative passion. But the movie thing to me has become a shadow. And that shadow is a bonus when it happens. And it helps me to have these steely moments. Um, so Morten, I don't know if you read or you've been scrolling through Instagram, but No Time to Die has been delayed to 2021. How do you feel about that?
Wow, that was it. I think it was expected, David. The writing was on the wall.
Did you pull a Sam Smith on me?
Yeah,
All right, so you still have your humor about this, other than you're
yeah.
hearing it. So you're not surprised at all.
Now, I wouldn't be, shocked, and because I think that we've sort of prepared for this now. I think that last time many people weren't, really prepared, and
Mm.
the news about the delay came as a shock. But now I think that people will be very understanding because of what's happening in the world, and even though we love James Bond and other movies very much, I think that health comes always first, and I think it's we shouldn't, no studios or we should take any risks.
Okay, I'm here with Joe Darlington. And Joe, by now, I'm sure you've probably read or seen the news, and I wanted to get you earlier rather than later. What's your reaction to it, the film being delayed?
Numb, just kind of numb
Are you
to
numb?
the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I mean, was it a surprise? Not exactly. I mean, and ironically, it's funny. I feel like how many times now have I done videos complaining about the most recent postponement of the film? Yeah. I look back at some of my earlier ones and I'm like, geez, that wasn't even like remotely. So yeah, I don't know. I at this point, and again, it's world events. What are you gonna do? I can't really, I go back and forth in my head, and I'm like, well, should I be upset about this? I mean, seriously, the powers that be postponed the film so much that we're literally living in an era where there might not be a such thing as movies anymore. I mean, not that long ago we had this kind of dust up between Universal and the AMC theaters. Regal. What is it over in the UK? Is it Regal over there?
Odeon?
Odeon.
Yeah.
Basically talking about putting movies straight to VOD.
Yes.
And again, they were back and forth on that, and the cinemas are going bankrupt or might soon be going bankrupt, etc. So yeah, it's going to be a problem. And again, I guess the one thing I feel like I do have a leg to stand on when I complain is, well, if you didn't wait 5 years to make another Bond movie, we wouldn't be in this mess. We wouldn't be in this pickle. Anyway, but with that said, everything else at this point is just, it is what it is.
Yeah, and it's going to be a while. I mean, it's almost, well, I guess it's almost a year, not quite a year that it's been delayed. So, I think a part of what I've been doing in my head is I was kind of counting down. But the second time that it was delayed, when it went from April to November, I stopped doing the countdown. Like I didn't do like, oh, now it's July. That means there's only 4 more months. And
Right.
My countdowns have stopped.
Yeah, same
and
here.
so I honestly can't delineate between a 4-month and a 10-month or 11-month delay.
Yeah.
I know it's longer from an umbrella standpoint, but my mindset is I have not been counting down to a movie.
Yeah, same here. I can't argue with that at all. I more or less have been doing the same thing. Where I mean, again, this film has been. I mean, how many dates have we actually had for this? I mean, first it got moved to Valentine's Day, then it got moved to April. Then when you thought, well, we were almost there. I mean, we could taste it. It was so close. We had plane tickets bought and everything, and then kaboom, they moved it to November. I remember back then thinking, like, good Lord, talk about, I mean, I know how the theater system works. You can't just say, hey, I'm putting it 3 weeks. No. We got that space blocked off for something else already. So you can't just postpone it a couple of weeks. You got to postpone it for, a good significant amount of time. But at least back then you thought, well, at least we'll be in the clear. I mean, at least by then this whole thing will blow over. Yet here we are. So, and again, like I said, it is what it is, and there's not much you can say at this point to. Yeah. But no, you're absolutely right. I mean, like it wasn't like they postponed it to November and it said, all right, well, I'll buy a plane ticket for November. No, you knew enough back then. Just nothing is carved in stone anymore.
You reminded me something I have forgotten about for many months. I forgot this was supposed to come out for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
So if they stayed on track for Valentine's Day, would it have come out? I guess that was before the pandemic.
I think if I mean, they didn't start shutting things down until March.
Well into March.
So I think, I mean,
it would have been one of the last movies
back
out,
on. Yes, we would have just made it under the wire. But yes, back in. I mean, I know that the term came up. The whole term, coronavirus, was back in about January.
Okay.
But I remember at least well into February, people kind of debating back and forth, was it a big deal? I mean, there were certain politicians that were saying, don't. This is silly. Don't let this be. But then there were others saying there was something. So yeah, I mean, back then I think people were still kind of wondering what to make of it, and it wasn't until probably well into March, maybe early March, I guess, that people were like, all right, this is a thing, and things are going to start to close down, etc. So yeah, I think we would have had it, and again, Valentine's Day wasn't even the first date. There was that was a postponement. So we had this thing been at least on schedule, and again, that's with a 4+ year gap. You would have had a movie. We'd be sitting here. We'd be watching it on Blu-ray today.
Yeah, that's the reality of it.
You
Oh
know?
my gosh. All right. Well, listen, you seem great compared to the last video. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you have your own video reaction to this, which I'm eager to see. But I just wanted a snippet, just a tiny little bit of your psyche, and you seem well.
I'm like I'm just at peace with it. Yeah, just
You're floating.
it is what it is, and I mean it's an odd feeling because the movie exists. I mean this movie is
It's there.
done.
Yeah.
It's not like we're sitting here saying when are they going to make another Bond movie
Or finish
It's
it.
made
Or
Yeah,
like,
right.
oh, they just need to finish 3 more scenes.
Yeah, it's
Huh?
literally done. So we just can't get to it yet. And again, I take comfort in the fact, look, but you can't take away anything we've had prior. I mean, we still have 24 films to enjoy, discuss at length, which we do. So, you know, there's always that. So I think we'll get it when we get it. That's it.
You have a quantum of solace.
I certainly do. Well
What?
said. Well said.
Joe's like 23 films.
You're
All right, Joe, thank you.
very welcome.
Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.